So this is my part 2 video of the Forest River Salem issues. I wanted to go over the fact that when I'm talking about RVs, I'm talking about this particular one. I'm not really trying to pick on them, but at the same time I am. The issues that come along with RVing. This is the 26D Bud, and this particular unit here has several issues, problems I have, with the unit. But it's just not this unit, it's all RVs in general. When you buy a new one, these are all issues you're going to have to look at and see for yourself. I might have went over this in the first video. This is the front cap here. Our front cap here, when we first got it, we had it a week and water was pouring down on the inside of the wall here in between the outside and the inside. And I had to poke a hole in the bottom down here to let the water drain out. And so I'm sure there's water damage without a doubt there. I had to reseal the front cap seal, but I ended up doing the whole seal up front and redid the whole entire roof. Also, I wanted to go over, if you look at the caulking job on these, they did a horrible job. I mean, I really think a preschool class could have done a better job at with caulking this unit. I know it's something stupid, maybe little, but it looks horrid. And then, just look at that. I think I could have done a better job blindfolded. So just everywhere there's caulking. They are not nice about it at all. And I don't even know, the video may not do it justice for what it really is, but it's horrible looking. Also, after we bought the unit, I think we used the radio once or twice, and the second time I turned it on and came out here, noticed that this speaker here was cracking and making all kinds of noise. They had some nice speakers out here that actually lit up and stuff like that. They were pretty cool, but these have been replaced with cheapos. So so far they've been working and they're okay, but that's the way it is. So the last video I was kind of on the outside focusing on different things. So this video I'm going to go on the inside, and I'm going to be pausing it and doing a few things so I can show you, so the video's not like a million hours long. So I'm going to pause it and I'll be right back with you to show you some more things on the inside. So opening the door here, got these steps here. I really like these. They're awesome. Of course, they don't work great when you just want to, be in a parking lot and can pull out the other steps, which are nice to have. But I like these much better because they're solid. These steps here, I'm not going to pull them up, but where they're screwed in down here, on this particular unit, the screws were stripped out. That was one of the biggest issues, and still having major issues with this unit, from so many of the screws and bolts being stripped or broke, sheared, whatever you want to call them. It's been a nightmare. But this, like I said, the screw, I've had to put this back on because the screws in this were just completely stripped out. This was just kind of sitting here and waving all over the place. So I caught it one of the first things, so I fixed it myself, because it's, there's a lot of stuff you're going to have to do yourself, because otherwise dealership's going to have to send it back to the manufacturer, to be honest with you, because there's so many things that these things, they come out, man. I'm telling you, they are absolute nightmares coming to the factories. They are not checked. They don't look at them. They look good from their house, so they say ship it. So onward to more things. So I came in here to the bedroom, to the cabinet here. These hinges, I don't remember how many of the hinges in this RV were they were stripped, and this one here you can see where it been put back on for the second time. That was at the factory or whatever, but this actually fell off on the top because it only had one screw up top. And then I only had one screw on the bottom. I had to put a new screw on the bottom here and another one up top. Funny thing is, luckily it came with some screws, so that worked out for me. Of course it was not pleasant, because the other one in the kitchen, yeah, here in the kitchen, the cabinet, these screws I had to replace, as well as these. There's only one screw as far as I could tell in each one, and we didn't really catch that at first. It wasn't until my wife opened it up and the whole door came off into her hand. So that was awesome. So of course that fell off. That was brand new when we bought it. It was shortly after we bought it, had that problem. So off to another thing. So I was wanting to point out here, wallpaper here. If you can see that bubbling through there, across there, the bubbling. We're getting, there was a little bit of that bubbling. So you get some of this wrinkle to begin with, which is kind of a factory defect. But, however, on our particular unit, I'm going to go over here because this right here is getting really bad. You can see where it's all coming off, peeling, lifting. A lot of the wallpaper starting to lift after, like I said, after a year and a half, it's starting to lift. Also, as we would have luck, right here you can see where it's all starting to come apart. That's the whole thing. We're seeing that all over the couch. So a lot of different places where things are coming apart. These brackets here were all stripped out. I had to replace all the screws in those on both sides because they weren't there. The one on the back actually fell off. So this compartment here underneath, same here. I had to put all these screws in because they were all stripped there. So these pieces as well, the magnets, were all stripped. This door as well as the other door. Now, this particular door here underneath the seat, we have tons of water pouring in there. Every time it rains, we get lots of water in there. Have no idea where it's coming from. Wish we did, but we don't. So, it's a lovely thing. So here we have our electrical control electric panel. So you got your fuses and everything. I'm going to open this up because I want to show you guys something that's all the units coming out of the dealership, out of the factory, are all of them, in I'm going to say my professional opinion with the units, everything I see from 2015 and newer should not be leaving the factory because they have a life safety issue. This particular unit here, you can see the wiring here, it's all separated now because I separated them. First thing I did, I actually did this before I left the dealership, because when I took the panel off, and when I normally take panels off when I'm doing inspections on RVs, I see a ton, 95% of the time, these are not separated, meaning I've seen 5 wires in one connection. 5. That will cause a fire, and quickly. Also here, same thing. These bars are actually not big enough. They need to have a bigger neutral bar and a bigger ground bar. So they're almost impossible not to have 2 in 1. Like this particular, which one is it? This one here, there's 2 of these in one spot right there because there's not enough spaces for that. So that's still not good because these loosen up extremely quick. And if you have 5, like I said, 5 in one spot, they shoved them in there and then they're loose. You can pull them straight out. When I'm doing electrical boxes, I grab these wires and I pull them out a lot of times, especially if there's 3 or 4 and like I said 5 in one spot. It should not be like that. There should be 1 per space, and that's it. So that is a life safety issue. If there's more than 1, they can loosen up, and then it is looking at searching. If you know electric, it starts searching for that ground, and it doesn't find it, and it will cause a fire. So I've been seeing lots of fires. they were trying to figure out why there's so many fires. Well, I'm thinking this is it right there. That's the major problem. This one, of course, you're not seeing it because I already fixed this one, and I fix them on every single one that I go into. When I do an inspection, I list it as a life safety issue because it is a life safety issue. It can cause a fire, and then people can die. And like I said, I believe that every single unit should be recalled to make sure this is fixed because of that. Other issue, I'm not going to open it up right now, is underneath here, back here, when we first got the unit, we didn't have any heat. No heat blowing out. It was wonderful having no heat. Well, my first issue I saw was my vents inside were full of garbage. Tons and tons of garbage. Screws and sawdust, wiring, zip ties, and actual garbage, papers and stuff like that. That was one of my problems. I pulled all the vents out. I was able to get a vacuum cleaner, cleaned everything out. Then I went into here, this panel, to get to the where the heater is, and lo and behold, the back of the heater plate wasn't even on. So all my heat was blowing in back there. It wasn't going anywhere except staying back there in the back. So that's where my heat was going. So I was able to put that panel back on and get everything fixed the way it should be. And now we have heat. It does a really good job. I'm going to come over here real quick to my slide out over here. This is compliments of the dealership. They were nice enough to do that for me when I took it in for some service. If you can see this, it lifts up a little bit right here. My slide out won't go out all the way. I talked about that in my first video. But however, if you can see this, it lifts up. Well, the part of the problem is with my slide out, I've been trying to get all of the debris out from underneath the debris from the channel. There's a channel, and this is supposed to sit down inside the channel, and it can't because there's screws, and there's sawdust, and there's wires, and there's zip ties, and washers, and all kinds of stuff that I pulled out from what I've been gathering, trying to get all the stuff out of the track where that's supposed to go. And of course it's a mess. It really is a mess. It's a nightmare. So, all right, back to something else. Hold on. Okay, so I'm here in the bathroom. I wanted to come in here. When we first got the unit, this door was out. It goes out to the outside. Was messed up. The door actually wouldn't open when I got it to the dealership to have some repairs. This was completely busted. I had to replace it. The dealership apparently tried to get it open using a crowbar and tore up the outside. I was able to fix it, so that was nice. And then they denied everything, which I can't argue with them. Their word against yours. This is ripped from the factory. Putting this unit in here, I can say that the shower, nice scratch from the factory. That's a factory scratch where they didn't, they just let it fly. This here I had to reseal it, of course, but this looks good from this side, but when you're up on top of the roof, it is a freaking nightmare. It looks horrible. It looks like a kindergarten class put this in from up top. It's crazy. So really was. I replaced the shower head because the factory ones suck. They're horrible. Don't do any good. And sorry if the tub's kind of dirty. We use it. Tub is brand new. Had to have it replaced 6 months after we got it because there's no support underneath of it. So there's, I don't know, 7 inches of nothing underneath of it. And so when you get in it, you're 200 pounds and your body weight cracks it, breaks it, and then you're good to go, right? So this here fan, I had to, cool thing was the old fan, it stopped working, and so I had to replace it, and I replaced it with this much nicer, newer one with the nice lights around it and everything. So I like it. 3-speed, also works air inside and outside, so it blows air in and blows it out. I really like that feature. So that had to be replaced because the motor that was in the original one was really cheap. You know, they're $5 units, and the motor went out, and I couldn't find another one. So you will have normal wear and tear like these things. These break. Fortunately for us, we've only broke one, and that was this one here in the bathroom. So it's good to know. So, you know, doing everything. I just, like I said, I was wanted to point out a few things. You know, just remember when you get these things, you're going to have to do work to them. You're going to have to replace things. I do highly recommend when you get it to check out, like I said, the tub. There's a panel on this particular one. A lot of them do have a panel that you can get into to see underneath the tub, and you may want to see about putting some support brackets underneath of it and make sure the plywood's there as well, but the plywood still flexes. So check out these doors. Like I said, all the bolts in here were stripped completely out. There was 2 bolts that were actually sheared, broke, not even in that, they were just sitting in there. So it caused the whole lock mechanism to screw up. I had a heck of a time trying to get it out because I had to take it apart from in here and force it out and everything, trying to get it because it was jammed in the lock position and it wouldn't open because the way it was tightened and crushed so bad. I'm going back and forth with things, so I'm sorry, but just trying to point things out that has happened and with it all. And real quick, I'm back in the shower here. I got this foam board. It's silver on one side, reflects the heat. I bought this stuff here, got it at Lowe's, but I put it on the windows. We're here in Florida where it's nice and hot, and let's see, it's here today. It's 77 degrees in here. It's been 77. It's 85 degrees here in Florida. So just wanted to point that out to you because it gets hot here in Florida, and we do have a secondary. This only has one AC on the unit, and we got an aftermarket one that we put in. We just plug in. It sits on the floor to help cool the place down, even though it still has hard time doing it. This is the LP detector. This is not the factory one. That had to be replaced. I replaced that about 3 months ago because the first one, the original one, was malfunctioning. Wonderful. 3 a.m. waking up to alarm going off kind of freaks you out, kind of makes you wonder. I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back here. I'm going to sit down here for a second. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me. So I just want to touch base, go over some of the things that here on my RV that you know, year and a half, and we've had lots of issues, a lot of stupid things. One of my major things that I have that, I mean, just all the screws, all the bolts that have been, just like I said, sheared off from them over tightening them at the factory, and the screws and that they put in that they just, oh my gosh, I can promise you more than half the screws on this unit have been stripped out. Screws that were shoved in there and then broke off, and then they shove another one next to it, broke that one off and shove another one in. Just, I don't know, you know, it's like they're shoving everything in there and just trying, I mean, just like I said, stripping everything, which is unbelievable. And it's strange. One of the other things I was going to go over, I'm going to show you this up front real quick, is the kind of crazy with it is the flex. This thing, as you're driving, this piece here, the gray bar, this black piece is taken out when we're driving, and the back, this piece here, the frame flexes enough to come up that far, if you can see it. Up here is where that scratch is. And that's from frame flex, is what they're telling me. That, to me, is crazy that you would have that much flame flex. I can't even say it. Blah, 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 blah. That's crazy to me. But anyways, you know, there's so many things that I'm aggravated with. We really, you know, the whole buying experience was mostly lies from the dealership. But isn't that dealerships? Isn't that salespeople? They just lie about everything, which is, it's shame on you. I know there's some decent people out there, but they're far and few between. I'm going to go out and say 90% of salespeople are just liars. They will tell you anything you want to hear. Lie, 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 lie. Matter of fact, I'm not going to mention any names. I got a job, and I was going to be a car salesman. My first day of orientation, they basically, to sum it up, lie, 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 lie. That's exactly what they told me. Lie about everything. I walked out. And then they told me I had to sign a waiver and paper saying that I would never lie to anybody, or not, that I would never tell anybody what I heard and what was told to me. You know, shame on you. You know, but it's ridiculous, and that, I can promise you, it's just not one dealership. They're all the same. Why lie to everybody? Why not just tell them the truth? Be truthful about it. When you buy one of these, you're walking into a nightmare. You really are. And then the factory, they don't want to fix anything on the unit. They just want, the warranty, yeah, the warranty is as good as nothing. So trying to get it into the dealership to get it fixed, you'll have to take it back to the dealership you bought it from, because nobody else will touch it. That's one thing that was beautiful enough to go through. And then when I took it back to the dealership, there was a list of things I had wrong, and the guy I was dealing with, service advisor, said, well, we can only fix 4 things at a time. And it was milked to the point where it went out of warranty. How convenient. So you run out of warranty, and they only warranty them for a year. And I know they're scared to death, and that's why they drag that year out, because after that year, you're screwed. Plain and simple, it's up to you to fix it, and nobody gives a crap. These things should be coming out of the factory with no problems. Have an issue here and there, but not the issues they're having. If you buy a house and you have to get a loan on it, you have it inspected. If these things you would never get a loan on one of these. If these had to be inspected in order to get a loan on them, nobody would ever get a loan on it, because they would have to fix everything. There would be so many things they'd have to fix on the stupid thing in order to be able to sell it. A car does not leave the manufacturer without going through tests and make sure every car is working up to par, because somebody could die. Not these. They don't give a crap if somebody dies. They'll worry about it later. So once I actually called, not pertaining to this, tires. My tires were bad on my car that I did have. I called the manufacturer, and they actually said, well, nobody's died yet that we're aware of, so we're not too concerned about it. But that's how everybody looks at it. That's how all the RV industry looks at it. That's how all the car manufacturers, nobody cares. And nobody's died yet, who cares? And then when they start dying, how many people actually have to die before somebody takes care of it? These things are nightmares coming out of the factory. They don't balance the wheels, which right there alone, that should be a life safety issue right there, not balancing wheels. The electricity, that's a life safety issue. They should not be leaving the factory without the wheels balanced on these things, and they should not be leaving the factory with the electrical not separated the way it's supposed to be. Plain and simple. I know this video is a little bit long and it's very choppy. I apologize for that, but I hope this puts some insight on stuff. Ask a lot of questions. I'm going to make another video on about what to look for when you're buying an RV, what to look at, what to try to find. The RV I'm going to be using is an older model. It's going to be a motorhome. But I'm going to go over a lot of things, what you need to look at. And hopefully I'll be able to make a good video and you'll be able to check it out and see what you need to be, see what to look for if you're not going to have it inspected. So because there's a lot of things you need to be looking at when you look at a RV, new or used. Make sure you get it all taken care of. Thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon.